Welcome to another live stream. My name is Sister Noble, and I have my guest speaker today in the house, Brother Taalik. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. I'm going to let you get started showing us some information concerning African ancestry DNA and how much of a scam this service is. You are welcome to start.
All right. Well, first of all, we're saying, or I'm saying, and it is my personal belief that African ancestry DNA is another hoax. It's a hoax, it's a scam. And just because it's related to science, a lot of our brothers and sisters believe that it's impossible. Just because a black man owned the company, it's impossible for African ancestry DNA to be another scam or hoax. However, you call young Pharaoh a scam artist. You call Brother Polite a scam artist. And the list goes on and on. These are black men who you say running a scam. Now, why this man is not running a scam? Matter of fact, the best scam of all. Because you can put Polite and Pharaoh and Umar Johnson, all these people together, the money that African ancestry DNA is taking in, the con that they're pulling is nothing. Put all of them together, they're nothing compared to this. Because this affects millions. And also, we view it as a science and it's legitimate. It's impossible for it to be a hoax and a scam. This reminds me of those back in the day who used magic, illusions to trick people who wanted to see their loved ones who was deceased. And you would go into this dark room and your father would talk to you in the dark, and they set up all these different things. Magic tricks. These was magicians who learned the art of illusion. And they knew in your heart you wanted to see your mother again, your father, or your dog that passed, whatever, so they can get that money out your pocket. And they done this over 100 years. Now, one of the things that could be said is, if African ancestry DNA was a hoax, why the government is not investigating them or whatever? The government did not get involved in all these people who were scamming the people that wanted to see their loved ones come back again. It was very rare because that is fraud, but it's a very rare thing. Scam artists, these people that pull these hoaxes, they feed on your desire to, in that case, in the past, they knew you wanted to see your loved one. So they made that possible for you to do. And you want to believe. See, that's another thing. You want to believe. When they went to these dark rooms and saw all this, you want to believe that it's real. Because you want to see your mother, your father, cousin, grandfather, whoever. You want to see them again. And they made that possible. You wanted to. I talked to my grandmother. It's all, look, I met a fella. He told me there's a quarter behind your ear. I was like, yeah, right. He said, no, it's a quarter hanging behind your ear. And he reached behind my ear and there was a quarter. I didn't see nothing in his hand. I'm like, where'd that quarter come from? He said, what quarter? Ain't nothing here. He snapped his finger and the quarter disappeared right in front of my face. Have you ever been to some of these magic shows? They do this illusion right in front of your face. They make tanks disappear, elephants. I seen a show where they made a 747 disappear. I saw a lady do a spin and she changed her whole clothes. She was in one dress and she spun around and flashed. She was a whole new different dress. Did this right in front of your face. It's an illusion. I don't know how she did it. And of course, those people, they take a vow when they learn these tricks not to tell, not to tell the secret behind it. But it can be done. It's an illusion. I saw a show where this person, this pastor, he was telling the people he's going to get this cancer out of this person. And he reached into the stomach area of the person. Now, they doing it right in front of your face. It's not like they hiding. You see this. You right there on them. He reached into this person and pulled out this lump of meat out of this person and claimed that it was the cancer. Right in front of your face. Later, we found out it was nothing but some waste meat from a butcher shop that he had got, and it was a trick. He did not pull no cancer out of this person. Illusion is fake. So in my humble opinion, because there's a lot of questions, and we're going to get into that, it's a lot of questions that's not being answered. It's a lot of things that don't make sense. And when things don't make sense, chances are it's not true. So we want to bring these questions to fold. But see, when you really want to believe, it don't make no difference what I say, Sister Noble want to say, or anybody say. You want to believe. And it's people, even though we found out that this was a lump of scrap meat, there's people that was there that said it was real. And you can't tell them that it was fake. But for those who can think, we want to give you something to think about so that you don't fall for the old okie doke. This okie doke, in my opinion, is modern day hoax, a modern day scam. No different from those people who was scamming people out their money, using tricks and illusions so they could see their dead relatives again, or this pastor that was tricking somebody, making them believe he actually physically pulled some cancer out of his body. It's no different. It's a hoax. You can use almost anything to trick somebody with. In this case, it's science. You can't prove. I don't have to prove nothing. I'm raising questions to make you think. And again, for those who believe, it don't make no difference what I say. It makes no difference what I prove. And I don't go around doing that anymore, trying to prove something to somebody. That's not my job. My job is to warn those who have not fallen for the trick so that you don't fall into the trap like these other folks. To give you something to think about before you give these suckers $300 or more for fake DNA tests that don't mean nothing. Now, one of the first things that you need to ask yourself is this. Could law enforcement use this test to solve a murder? Because if they can, it must be something valid to it. Now, a lot of these DNA testing places, it says in small print on some of them, for entertainment purposes only. That should tell you something. for entertainment purposes only. Man, you really upset over this African DNA stuff because it's a lie. I know it's a lie. Now, if you want to prove, if you bring me clear, convincing, and overwhelming evidence to show that I'm off base, I will embrace that. I'll take that into consideration. I don't want to think that a black man would be tricking us like that. I would hope not. But the reality is, you have a certain group of folks on social media. They want your money. They lie. They will scheme to get your money. And this man is no different. Even some of your relatives will sell you a car, knowing it's about to break down, sell you a car and take your money, and they knew it's getting ready to break down. Scam their own relatives, scam their own cousin, mother, father. So why this man who don't know you at all, if your own biological relatives will rip you for money, what make you think this man who don't know you, what make you think that he wouldn't do that to his own? You are really naive, aren't you? They do it every day. Preachers and pastors in religion do it every day. Rip you. Telling you lies that when you die, you're going to go to heaven and Jesus is coming back and the mother plane going to do this. Telling you lies and scamming you with religion for hundreds of years. That's how they make their living. And they live real good. And you poor. You scraping up the money. Now, there was an incident where a European lady, she sent in her dog spit to one of these DNA places. And the results was the dog was half Swedish and half German or something like that. Dog spit. I'm going to play this video and show you a little something. But one of the selling points that really draw folks into African ancestry DNA is that they claim we have 30,000, I forgot what, 30,000 examples or whatever it is in their database. We have the largest African melanated base in the world. That's the selling point. So they basically just focus on African dark-skinned people, whatever. And that really fires you up because they're not dealing with Europeans or nobody else. It's African. So you love that. That fires you up. African. Ancestry. DNA. You love when they put the emphasis on African. Because see, you conditioned. See, he knows that you've been conditioned. That's what you want to be. You want to be an African. Just like you want to see your deceased loved ones or whatever. Now you want to be an African. And you know in your heart that you're going to give this DNA. And when it come back, you know in your heart that this DNA test is going to prove to you that you are African. And you loving it. Now, what I notice is that only the so-called African American is really interested in this. You don't see where people on the continent are taking these DNA tests trying to find out if they're related to you. It's only you obsessed with them, trying to figure out if you are an African, because you want to be an African. And he knows this. And there's a lot of these DNA tests. They know that you want to be an African. And so the only thing he does is go in. He knows you don't know nothing about DNA. He knows you don't know nothing about genetics. He knows you're ignorant. Just like back in the day when they was tricking people, most of the people was illiterate. They were ignorant. Their heads filled with religious stuff. They believe that you can talk to the dead. It's already there. And they put on a show. And that's what he does. You get your envelope. You so happy. My African DNA test came. Sister Noble, my African DNA test came back. And you so happy. You shaking. You can barely get the envelope open. You call all your children. Come on, everybody, gather around. You treat opening the letter just like you celebrate Thanksgiving and Christmas. Because you want to be an African. Then you open it up and you see that big old circle. And it shows that the majority of you is some kind of African, and you get to hooping and hollering and jumping for joy. I knew I was an African. We's Africans. We's Africans. We's Africans. Mama, it's our Black American. No, you's an African. We's just an African. Incredible. They give you this big circle. And we want to talk about this big circle that you see that they give you. These percentages. Now, I want to play this. And it's a brother who's an African. He's a Igbo, whatever it is. I don't know what that is. Some type of tribe, the Igbo tribe or whatever it is. He's 100% Igbo, he said, because African ancestry says that. Now I want to give another example. They tested a sister and she jumped for joy because she found out that she was an African. And she just, I'm just so overwhelmed. She took another test. And the test said that she was an African, but different from the first test. I believe she ended up taking 3 tests, and they all was different. How is that possible? Your DNA did not change. It's the same blood, it's the same spit or whatever. How can you take the test 3 times with 3 different results? So she knows something funny about that. And so she went from jumping for joy. Yeah, I'm an African. Then she starts slowing down. And then it starts turning to disgust, because how can these tests be different? Because it's all phony. They cannot go back thousands and hundreds of years to determine where you come from like that. The science has not reached that level. It has not. Let's listen to what this scientist have to say. And like I said, his brother don't want to give this man any credit, but he's a geneticist, and they are explaining. See, you're not that, and he's not that. You're going to argue with me about a science you don't know nothing about. I know more than you. I have common sense, and I know when things don't sound right. They take advantage of our ignorance. Also, we don't take more than 1 test. We take one test, and we happy. These tests are about $300 a shot. So I know the reason why you're not going to take more than 1 test. You barely could afford the first test. Now, if you take a second test, that second test should say the same, and do it from the same company and see what happens. And chances are it's going to be different. You said they don't know me. No, see. They don't know me. How can they do this? Man, they would get to know you. You think these people are good at what they're doing. I saw a show where this magician was telling these people he never seen in his life their whole life story. They were like, How did he know that? Because they have ways to research you and find out your information so they can have an idea of what to send you back. See, you don't understand that because you're not a thief. You're not a liar. Hustlers know how to do this. Magicians know how to do that. So the brother always asking for proof. He's not a geneticist. He has no degree. He doesn't know anything except what African ancestry DNA is telling him. Oh, you listen to white people. Black people lie. White people lie. Chinese people lie. Now, the thing about telling a lie or trying to find or exhume the truth from a lie is that you gather all your information and see what is consistent in order to find out the truth. It doesn't matter what source it is. But you need to prove that this man don't know what the hell he's talking about. Let me play this video, then we're going to come back and finish this talk out. Let him speak to give you an understanding, because and really we don't understand. Now, here's somebody that, unless you can prove different, he knows what he's talking about. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Let me play the video real quick. Let's do this.
And that's the rub. This business of genetic genealogy is fraught with limitations. For one thing, it can only provide information about a tiny fraction of our ancestry. Because we get half our DNA from our mothers and half from our fathers, almost all of our DNA gets shuffled and remixed every generation, making it impossible to trace what comes from whom. There are just 2 bits of DNA that remain pure: the Y chromosome, which passes directly from father to son, and something called mitochondrial DNA, which passes unchanged from mother to child. Hank Greeley, a law professor at Stanford University, has studied this new field. He worries that people don't realize just how many ancestors they actually have.
8 generations ago, both you and I had 256 great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents.
Wait, you're saying that if you go back 8 generations, we have 256 great-great-great-grandparents?
Yes, it doubles every generation. So you've got 2 parents, you have 4 grandparents, you have 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, and it adds up fast. It adds up so fast and fast that if you go back 20 generations, you've got over 1 million grandparents.
1,048,576 to be exact. And in each generation, DNA testing can provide information about only 2 of them.
So you could be Peruvian on your mother's side, Japanese on your father's side, Swedish on everything else.
And you'll never know.
And you'll never know the Swedish from the Y chromosome or the mitochondrial DNA.
Now, you've looked at several of these companies that are doing these tests.
Yes.
Do you think that they explain what you just explained to us?
No, I don't think any of them does as good a job of pointing out the limitations. But, businesses often don't go around telling you how weak their product is.
We don't oversell. I mean, we just say, look, we provide a service. If you're interested in exploring a tiny bit of your DNA and trace its ancestry, we can do that.
When you say it's a tiny little amount,
It's less than 0.1%.
and that's pretty teeny.
Yeah, but for people who know not.
Did you hear what he just said out of his own mouth? He said, that's just a tiny bit. That means he's limited in what he can tell you. Out of his own mouth, he's telling you this. He can only tell you a tiny little bit. But that's all you want to hear. Only thing you want to hear is, well, at least I know I'm an African. I'm an African. That's all you want to hear anyway. That's all that's required. You're not even listening. Now, the gentleman before him is a law professor. He's not a geneticist either, but he broke it down. You have, in a certain amount of generations, over 1 million some grandparents. And he, out of his little 30,000 database, don't even touch the surface. Because it don't stop there. And the science is limited in what it can tell you, but you satisfied with that. Now, some of you, that's all you want to hear. And you satisfied. But you're paying $300 for something that is not full information. It's just a tiny, tiny bit, a little slab. So you ordering a McDonald's hamburger, and basically he giving you a pickle. That's all you get. Nowhere close to a hamburger. You just getting a pickle or some ketchup. He said it out of his own mouth. He's giving you a little. But see, and another thing, the law professor said, these businesses is not going to tell you the full story. They're not going to tell you that, because if they told you their limitations, you wouldn't spend $300 for the test. It's simple as that. So now you get your circle from this, from this honest brother here. You get your circle and you're so happy. I'm an eagle-boo, whatever, jiggle-boo, whatever I am. I'm just so, Lord, I knows I was an African something. I knows I was. These damn white people that lied to me. Woo! Praise Jesus, Akbar, Muhammad, whatever. And you just so happy. That's all you really care about. When they used to go to those seances or whatever, see, you believe. That's how he catch you up, because you already believe you're African. The only thing he's doing is verifying your belief. That's all. Just like these scam artists in the past. They just verify what you believe anyway. That you can talk to the dead and all this other kind of stuff. And they just give you what you want. Asada said, I paid for the test. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed because you fell for the okie doke. Don't be ashamed. Don't feel bad. The reason why we're making this video tonight is to warn others, and you can warn others that this is not what it's cracked up to be. But people who want to believe, it don't make no difference what I say or what you say. They're going to, because that's what they want to believe. And that's how he's making his money, because so many of us, we want to be African so bad, we don't want to be who we are for the last 400 years. You dang sure did not live in no Africa. So let's talk about this circle. Now, they give you this circle, and you 90% Igbo, and you 10% Ghanaian, and you 2% Jamaican something or whatever, something from the island, whatever. It does not connect you to flesh and blood. It connects you to dirt, a landmass. It does not connect you to actual people. The Igbo is a tribe. But that's a tribe that you assume lived in a certain geographical area that might not have lived in that spot if you really went back thousands, hundreds of years ago or whatever. Because humanity is constantly moving back and forth. He's assuming, because he's limited in his information, he's assuming that in this geographical area that he traced you to, that the Igbo people lived there. And maybe they did from where you stopped at. But if you kept going, they might not have lived there. It just connects you to some dirt. It does not connect you to flesh and blood. Because if it connected you to flesh and blood have a name. He has all these people in his database. Where are you getting these samples from? Who are you comparing? Whose blood, whose spit are you using to compare them to me in order to come up with these conclusions? So you should have some names. And you would think that the people who donate him the spit or the blood for his database, they would want to know, who am I related to? Who am I connected with? You would think they would be interested, but they're not. Who are the people that you getting your sample of DNA from in order to make this connection? Now, this is the one that you really need to look out for. When you take a paternity test, some of y'all took paternity tests. Now, if you take a paternity test, or if you ever had a rape kit done on you, or if you ever was involved in a murder case, now they might not give you the full results because you wouldn't know what you're reading anyway. But DNA has a makeup. A little bit up, down. I wish I had an example of how DNA. Anyway, it's like a road map. So let's say, for instance, this is hypothetical. Myself and Sister Noble, we have a child. And I say, I ain't the father. So they take my DNA, they take Sister Noble's DNA, and they take the DNA of the child. So they have my DNA, my roadmap. They have Sister Noble's roadmap. That child DNA, in order to prove that I'm the father of this child, all our DNA have to line up. And you can see that. When they do a forensic case and looking up DNA, and they get a blood stain from a crime scene, and they have a suspect, it has to line up. They compare this DNA to the other, it has to all line up in order for you to say, that's the person that done it. It's the same. It's the same. It all got to line up. The same thing with a rape kit. Now, they would give you Mr. I forgot what his name is. Kittles, I believe that's what his name. I forgot what that brother's name is. They would give you a big circle telling you how you related to dirt and some people that's assumed to live on the dirt, but they don't give you that roadmap of the DNA that's in their box, in their sample, whatever they took it, so that you can see for yourself that you match with this DNA roadmap. They don't show you that. They just show you a big geographical circle and tell you what part of the earth you're supposed to come from, but they don't show you the actual DNA, how your DNA lines up with the specimen that they have. Why is that? Because chances are it don't. And then again, who did you get this from? In a paternity test, you get the DNA sample from the mother and the father and the child. A rape kit, you get it, the sample from the rape victim. In a forensic case, you get it from the crime scene. Where are they getting the 30,000 samples that they're comparing you to? Where are they getting this from? Because they dang sure not getting it from nobody that's dead from 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago. They got to be getting it from somebody who's alive now. They have no DNA from nobody from way back then to compare you to. Yeah, that's right. Rick Kittles is his name. Thank you. You should have concern. These questions need to be answered. But I'm not going to, it's not up to me to prove nothing. I'm raising questions because something funny going on here. Because he said out of his mouth, and that should raise a red flag. He said, I only have a tiny, because he knows. You don't know. They take advantage of our ignorance. Not only him, but people all the time when you don't know. If you really don't know what's happening with your car, an auto mechanic can take advantage of you because you don't know. You just take his word on and you just want your car fixed. You don't know. You're not a mechanic. You don't know. We get ripped by people all the time because we're ignorant of things. I don't care how smart you are. And don't be shamed because somebody ripped you. I don't want nobody to be shamed because somebody ripped you. Even the best of us can get ripped. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan got ripped. Way back in the 80s, it was these brothers. He wanted to buy Mos Mariam back in the day. And these brothers claimed that they were, at a cheap price, they could get that building for him. They got the down payment, they got the money from Minister Farrakhan, and they took off, never to be seen again. The brothers wanted to track them down and kill them and whatever. Once you put your money in somebody else's hands, it's gone. Remember a few years ago, there was this guy named Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff ripped off entertainers, sports figures, the wealthy. So don't be ashamed because somebody ripped you off or you went for the old skidoo. Don't be ashamed because anybody can get ripped off. Nobody is too smart to get ripped because there's always somebody out there who's scamming and trying to figure out how I can make an easy buck. Always. But what we want to do is try to avoid that if we can. Try to warn others. So once people got noticed what was going on with Bernie Madoff and they began to talk, that stopped other people from becoming victims. And that's all that we want to do here. There again, see, and Bernie Madoff, the reason why Bernie Madoff was able to do what he done because of greed. These people was already rich. They was already wealthy, but Bernie Madoff was selling them this dream to make more money. More money, more money, more money. And that's how he got them, their greed. That's how Martha Stewart ended up going to prison. She's already rich. Her company had just went on the stock market. And somebody gave her a tip. It was only $50,000. But more money, more money, more money. That's all was on her mind. And she ended up trying to get more money. She ended up going to prison over it. Because people take advantage of you, of your weakness. And one of the weaknesses is greed. Another weakness is booty. Man, that woman sure got a big booty. I sure like, and so she knows you want the booty, and she use you for that. Next thing you know, you done spent hundreds and thousands of dollars, and she done ran off and married somebody else, and she used your money to pay for her wedding. That's how people take advantage of your weak spot. They know you want to talk to your mother or father that you just lost or whatever. They take advantage of that. And you get ripped. You greedy. Bernie Madoff was waiting on you. And this man here, I could be wrong. I will apologize. I apologize. I could be wrong. I don't think so. It's a lot of stuff here that ain't adding up. It's something funny. Some stink up in here. Some don't smell right. And he even gave you, he raised a red flag himself. I'm limited. And that's all I'm saying. They're limited in what they can take. They cannot go back hundreds and hundreds of years. They cannot do that. The technology is not that advanced yet. But he knows that you're satisfied with a little bit, a little taste. You don't need the whole hamburger. A pickle will do. And if you're satisfied with the pickle, but you really was looking for the hamburger, okay, that's fine. You didn't get scammed. You got what you paid for. You got the pickle. But for me, I'm looking for the whole hamburger. And right now, he's not able to do that for us. And many of us, that's what you was looking for. But since this is all that you can get, you satisfied with the pickle because you want to believe you are African or Aboriginal or whatever the hell that you, Hebrew, whatever. And I don't think he does that. I don't think he can tell you if you're a Hebrew or Moor or none of that kind of stuff. I don't see why not. Because, see, the thing about, I'm going to say this in my conclusion. Okay, the brother said that he's part of the Igbo tribe. A tribe does not have DNA. A tribe is just a name for a people. The people have DNA. And the people in this tribe can have the same DNA as a person way on the other side of the continent. The same DNA. You understand what I'm saying? A tribe does not have DNA. A continent does not have DNA. A continent is only dirt. A tribe, a city, does not have DNA. It's just the name of a people that's part of a family, but that DNA, those people can be on the way on the other side of the continent also. The same DNA. You talk about I'm an Igbo, but also another people on the other side of the continent have the same DNA. Because when you talk about DNA, you're talking about a connection to a species. Not a tribe or a nation. A nation does not have DNA. A continent does not have DNA. And see, you're not thinking about these things. You're just obsessed and absorbed. I want to be an African. And here comes this brother, and so shall it be. But make sure that your check don't bounce. PayPal, Cash App, and all that kind of good stuff. And you are African. I can make you 90%, 100%, split it all up, all kinds of good stuff. So I just find something mighty funny about all of this. Something stinks. Something don't smell right. Now, if you can show me that but you're not a geneticist, like the lawyer said. Like the lawyer said. Because a lot of these people are getting taken to court over this stuff. What the lawyers say. So when a lawyer go to court to sue people like that, they have to understand. They don't have to be a geneticist, but they have to understand how all that works in order to sue African Ancestry or Ancestry.com or whatever. You don't have to be a geneticist to understand. And something about this stuff stinks. It's foul. I can't get with it. But my mind is open. My mind is open. I still give him a benefit of a doubt. But Mr. Kittles, you ain't getting no money from me. No. You ain't getting $300 from me. And some of you, I wish that you could afford to take a second and third test. And chances are you will see, and all that clapping and shouting and hollering that you was doing, it'll slow down and you'll get disgusted because you know these tests all should be the same. They won't be. I can almost guarantee you they won't be. Because just like the brother said, it's only a little tiny, tiny bit. That's all, little tiny, little taste. So this brother said that he's an Igbo or whatever, and he's just so excited. Go ahead, man. I'm proud that you're Igbo. But guess what? I don't have to spend nothing. I'm proud to be just who I am and don't have to spend a dime. I don't care nothing about Igbo ain't looking for me, so I'm not looking for them. I'm fine not knowing nothing about them. They fine not knowing about me, and it's all gravy, it's all good. My money is in my pocket. You gave your money to this man. Go to his house and see how he living. And I come to think about it, I never heard this man say what tribe and stuff he come from. And he can get his test for free, right? How come he's not bragging about being an African? I seen him talk. I never heard him say, well, I did the test myself, and I'm proud to say I'm from such and such and such. Why he's not bragging about that he's an African? Because it's not important to him. But he knows it's important to you, and you're going to pay those ducats. And I bet he's living rich, got 2 or 3 swimming pools, and I bet he mingled with all the stars that you can't mingle with. He mingles with Michael Jordan and In Vogue and whoever. And the only thing you could do is sit back and clap, and you so happy because you got a big circle that tell you that you are African. And some of these tests, like one brother told me, he's all kinds of African. He's a little bit of Ghana. He's a little bit of Somali. He's a little, what kind of African is that? That's all mixed up. And then some of these tests tell you that you got European in your bloodline, and you just want to ignore that. I don't claim that. That's not how it works, people. That's not how it works. If you got the white man's blood in you, you can't just say, I don't claim that. No, that's you. That's part of you. Just like you cannot deny your mother and father. Your mother is your mother, and your father is your father. If your father was a crackhead and your mama was a prostitute, whether you like it or not, that's your parents. Your DNA test said that you got 5% European. Oh, I don't claim that part. That's you. And when you're all mixed up like that, you're not African. You some kind of admixture person. In order to be a so-called African, you would have to be at least 90, 100% like that one brother that claimed he's a Igbo, however you want to pronounce it, person. So, as a matter of fact, he's being specific. I'm an Igbo, Agbo, whatever you call it. I don't keep up. I can't. It's not making mark. I don't know how to pronounce this stuff. But you a little bit of Somali, a little bit of Ghanaian, a little bit of the Republic of Congo. You all mixed up. So you're not an African. You some kind of admixture person. And you want to know what all of us really are? The Negro. That's what you are. That's what you are. The Negro. A product of chattel slavery. Less than 500 years old. You never lived in Africa. Never. At no time. You never lived in Africa. Your history starts on a slave plantation. Oh, no. Oh, yes. You don't want to accept that reality, but that's the reality of it. And you still act like a slave. You don't act free. If you acted free, when I talk about Operation Exodus Mississippi, you should be able to understand it very clearly. It's very simple. But you don't. Because you're a Pharaoh slave and you still think like a slave. You think like you still living on a plantation. I just want to open up a mom and pop store. You don't think big like a free man. Here these Peckerwoods talking about they want to go live on Mars, and you talking about you want to sell watermelon on the side of the street. You think small. They thinking about conquering the universe. And some of y'all barely leave your neighborhood. Just like the slave that was scared to leave his plantation. Because you're scared of the unknown. You scared, don't want to do for yourself. You want to blame the white people. Because if you go somewhere and do for yourself and there's no white man around and you screw up, who you going to blame? You got to blame yourself. And you really don't want to do that. You want to put yourself in a position so you can always say, the white man, the evil devils, the white man caused us to do this. The white man is from, and you want to blame slavery because you're a loser. Well, if we wasn't slaves, we could do this. If it wasn't for the white man, you just want to be in a position so you can keep using excuses for being a loser. Let's go back to Africa. Why you want to go back to Africa? So they can take care of your lazy ass. That's why. So they can run things. So when things go bad, well, the Africans run the state. You don't have to take responsibility for nothing. Well, I'm just here. I came from the United States. The Africans the one that do it. You don't want to take responsibility for nothing in your personal life or we as a people because you're a slave. Jesus will fix it. Massa will fix it. Muhammad will fix it. Everybody gonna fix it except you. Are you too damn dumb to fix it? No. You just don't want to. You lazy. And you have that slave mentality. You don't want to do for yourself. How can you as a man and a real woman want to lay up in the house of your oppressor? You should want to get out. Even if you feel as though you're an American citizen, as a man and a woman, you want your own. Just like you want to get out of your mother and father's house. You love mama and you love daddy, but after you get a certain age, mama, y'all rules and whatever, I can't do it no more. I got to go out here and do my own thing on my own. But you sit here and tolerate these people's rules and their unjust laws. And not only that, they murder you and discriminate against you and lock you up for little or nothing. And you handle that and you still want to lay up in this place and you lie in the bed with them. They don't care nothing about you laying up with them. You don't have no power. Would they want to lay up with you if they had to obey laws that you make, policies that you make? If you really was equal to them, would they want to lay in the bed with you when you can control aspects of their life? Yeah, they'll lay up with you because you don't determine nothing in their life. You don't determine their education, how they get a job, their, or their sciences. You don't determine nothing. You just something to play with. You a little toy. Something to screw around with. And they get rid of you whenever they feel like it. And they don't lose nothing. You still want to continue to live like this. And then don't laugh because you pro-African and pro-black because you just want to go to Africa so you can lay up with some other people so they can take care of your happy ass. And you sit around and be a fake African. And those people over there know that you're not that. What's wrong with just being who you are? All the money we done gave to DNA tests, you could have built your own Harvard University, your own schools, your own Walmarts, the money that you done just gave away because you want to, just so you can feel good about something. All the money that we give to church every year, the billions of dollars, so we can feel good. And the drugs, we just want to feel good about stuff. Feel good about everything except real freedom, justice, and equality. You don't want that because that's responsibility. And you don't want that. You want somebody to take care of you. Well, One of these days, they're going to get sick of it all. They're not going to care nothing about you like that. Just like some of these parents, they kick these grown adult children out their house. Tired of it. What you going to do when that day comes? You want Africans to take care of you? You want the white man to take care of you? What you going to do when they throw you? Nobody wants you. What you going to do? Maybe Mr. Kittles will give you some of your money back so you can live on, pay your rent. Maybe Mr. Kittles will give us a stimulus check. I'm done, sister. I'm done. Don't fall for the old okie doke. That's all I'm saying. You know, I know I talk pretty bad about things, whatever. I just want us to think. Think about these things. Stop going for anything just because something feel good. Don't mean it's good for you. Just because something look good, don't mean it's good for you. Take your time, think about things instead of being so emotional. And we are reactionary. There's a lot of people who's going to look at this video and get mad as hell. Reactionary, emotional, because they really want to believe in Jesus. They really want to believe in Mr. Kittle. They want to really believe in the Honorable Minister Farrakhan and young Pharaoh and Taalik. You're living in dreams and la la land. You really need to pick up this book by a sister I know called God is on Trial so that you can have an idea of how all this trickology and deception and these hoaxes and scams, how they get you brainwashed in the mind. It's on sale, Kindle, $3.99. Check it out. Sister Noble's book, God is on Trial. Working on a new book. Something else for y'all to get mad about. Coming soon in a little while. I might, you know, while I'm on this little sabbatical, whatever I think I'm on, I might write a book myself. Make y'all even madder, more angrier. I should change my channel to the Angry Channel, the Angry Black Man Channel, and whatever y'all want to call it. But it's not about that. It's about bringing you something beneficial to you. Keep your money in your pocket. Stop going for the okie doke. Let's stop being so emotional over things. Because when you're emotional, you don't think properly. Learn how to think. Malcolm didn't do this for no reason. When people do this, that means I'm thinking. I'm not doing this to profile. People do this because it's an expression. I'm thinking. Let us learn how to think and not be so emotional. Think about things. Instead of hearing people, learn how to listen to them. There's a difference between, I'm going to say this, and we're going to be out of here. There's a difference between hearing something and listening. Hearing is, I heard a cup. No, I heard something drop. That's hearing. Listening is, it sounds like a cup, and it sounds like it might have coffee in it, because you're listening more intent for detail. And that's what we're not doing. We're not going deeper into detail about what we're hearing, what we're listening to. That's why it's easy to scam us. All over the internet, they talk about how we getting taken for these scams. Brother Polite, young Pharaoh, Mr. Kittles. I'm going to call him a scam artist until proven different. He's a scam artist too. And Farrakhan, all these preachers, they scam artists. I don't know how else to tell you. And on that note, I'm already 5,000. I'm going to pass the mic over to our sister Nova, the gracious host that gave us the opportunity to be able to bring this to us tonight.
African ancestry DNA is a scam. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's a scam. Okay. And I just want to say, I want to ask this question. If there were no white people in America, what would Black people do? What would black people do if they're all of a sudden white people just vanished out of America? I'm talking about here, and I'm not talking about in Europe. I'm talking about here.
Right.
What black people in this country do? Okay. Because right now, black people are completely dependent on their white mommies and daddies for survival.
That's right.
They just passed a stimulus bill giving Americans $600. Can you imagine if you were somebody whose rent is $1,000? I can't imagine, because I've never had to pay $1,000 for rent anywhere.
Me neither.
I can't imagine being in a situation getting only $600. And you know, I got my check. I got my money. It came early Friday morning. I can't imagine being a person, human being in this country, and my rent is $1,000 and only getting $600. And see, that's what I'm saying. They got us completely dependent upon the government. They got us completely dependent upon Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
They've stripped away our ability as a people to completely be independent of them. Does that make sense? We don't have any power. As a group, we have no power. I don't care how many black politicians you see on the television, in Congress and the Senate. We have no power as a group. We don't control the oil refinery industry.
Nope.
Therefore, who would take care of the oil that we need if all the white people disappeared from America? Who would take care of that? Because they've shut us out of that industry. Pretty much. We've been shut out of the oil refinery industry. We don't control education. We don't control Wall Street. We don't control the automobile industry. We don't control the power plants. Therefore, if whites no longer existed in America, who would take care of these power plants that provide our homes with electricity? Within a month, the power would be shut off. Our electricity would be shut off within a month. If there were no white people in America, if they all just disappeared, or if they all perished, or something happened to them and they all dropped dead, within a month, we would have no electricity. And the shelves at the grocery stores would be completely bare. It would be, the shelves would be bare at the grocery stores, because there would be a mad rush on the grocery stores, obviously. We need electricity to survive. We need oil to survive. We need it, But if white people no longer existed, how would we have access? How would we know what to do to maintain the electricity and the oil? Because, like I said, most black people have been shut out of those industries. And it's a shame that so many black people in America are so caught up in whether or not they're African, when those people on the continent don't even regard you as an African. They don't see you as one of them. They don't see you as one of them. Most of them, they don't have any regard for you as, oh, he's my brother over there in America. They don't have any regard for us. Oh, she's my sister over there in America, or he's my brother. No. And it's also a shame that so many black people have been bamboozled by African ancestry DNA in the hopes that they would reestablish some connection to their African roots, when our roots are here on U.S. soil. Although my ancient keyword ancient, ancestry, may have been from the mother continent, was from the mother continent. My roots are here in the New World. The American Negro is a brand new people born of chattel slavery. And I keep telling y'all that. I always say it. The American Negro is a brand new people born of chattel slavery. Somebody came in the chat earlier asking to hear from me, asking, you know, whether I could speak on this. I guess he disappeared because, you know, I guess, you know, he didn't find what you were saying interesting, Brother Taalik. And most people do that. They ignore people like you and me. They ignore us. They don't pay us no attention because we're not stroking their ego. We're not telling them what they want to hear. And so therefore, a lot of times they don't want to listen to anything you got to say because you're not going to stroke their ego. You're not going to tell them that they're a king and a queen and all that. You're not going to tell them they're African because in reality, we're not. And a lot of folks don't want to hear that. They don't want you telling them they ain't African. Don't tell me, nigga, I ain't African. I know I'm African.
Right.
Well, no, you're not. African is not even a people.
Nope.
That's the name of a continent, Africa.
Right.
That's not a people or a tribe or a nation. That's the name of a continent, by the way. You know, like I said, if all the white people disappeared from America, what would black people do? What would we do? Because most of us don't know nothing about growing a garden. We don't know nothing about growing food. We don't know nothing about how to maintain electricity in our homes. We don't know nothing about how to maintain the oil that we would need to put in our cars. Like I said, most of us have been shut out of the oil refinery industry and also out of the power plant industry. So most of us would not know what to do to maintain the electricity in our homes or anywhere else. We wouldn't know what to do to maintain the oil. We wouldn't know what to do to maintain clean water. A lot of us don't know. We wouldn't know what to do to keep the water flowing in our homes because white people control that. They control the water also.
Yeah, right.
Think about it. You know, and I'm gonna tell you, you know, a lot of folks, they don't want to listen to what we got to say because they probably think, you know, that we don't know what we're talking about, you know. And see, you know, I'm not a you know, great public speaker, you know. I don't consider myself a great public speaker. I'm not a great orator. So therefore, you know, a lot of people, you know, they hear us, but they go on about their business. Oh, they don't know what they're talking about, you know, because I don't sound you know, like this eloquent speaker, you know, like, you know, somebody else may sound. You understand? And I ain't on here, you know, every other curse word. I mean, every other word coming out of my mouth is a curse word. I ain't on here every other word coming out of my mouth is a curse word and you know, whatever, or a profane word. So, you know, a lot of them, they don't pay people like you and me no attention, you know. So we probably not going to get a whole lot of likes. We're not going to get a lot of views. We're not, you know, people gonna ignore us. Like what we saying don't count. Like what we say don't matter. And you know, I'm used to it now. I'm used to it.
No big deal.
I'm used to it. Yeah. Because, you know, we're not stroking these black folks' egos and telling them that they African. You know, we're not doing that.
No.
When we know you a nigga. You a nigga. You know. A whole new people born of chattel slavery. And furthermore, the Igbo tribe, Igbo, it don't matter, honey. The Igbo tribe is supposed to be the Hebrew Israelites out of West Africa. Okay. But the Old Testament Hebrew Israelites under the biblical Moses never even historically existed. Okay. And I need you all to go and purchase my book, God is on Trial, How Religion Keeps Humanity Under Mind Control and Fear, in which I explain in further detail that the biblical Hebrew Israelites from the Old Testament under the biblical Moses are a mythical people. They never historically existed, just like the biblical Moses and Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and Esau never historically existed. Okay? So go to Amazon Kindle and purchase my book. God is on trial, but you know, a lot of y'all don't want the truth. So I get that too. A lot of y'all don't want the truth. But anyway, the Hebrew Israelites under Moses never historically existed. Okay? Okay? African ancestry DNA linking Black Americans to the Igbo tribe in West Africa is a scam also. That's a scam. The Hebrew Israelites from the Old Testament under Moses are a mythical people. I think many Black Americans have low self-esteem.
Yeah.
I think many have low self-esteem. And when you have low self-esteem, you often look outside of yourself to find validation from others. And that's my honest opinion also. So, you know, anybody paying $300 just to find out who they are, you got low self-esteem. And I'm sorry if that offends you. You know, I apologize. I apologize, okay, if that offends you. But you probably have low self-esteem. You know, why are you looking to African ancestry DNA to find out who you are? You should already know who you are at least by mid-30s. You should know who you are by the mid-30s at least. I'm just telling you, okay? If you don't know who you are by the mid-30s, and I ain't talking about whether you're an African either. I'm talking about you should know who you are psychologically. You should know who you are emotionally. You should know who you are internally. You understand? Okay, because your ass ain't African. I'm just telling you, you Black American like me. Yeah. Okay, folks keep trying to put me in another category, you know, because I got some phenotypes similar to the Caribbean. But no, baby, I'm American Negro. That's what I am. I'm telling you. I'm American Negro. Okay, and I'm and you know. Also, many of us have the white man's blood in us. Yeah. Because the slave masters raped slaves and impregnated slaves. That's what they did. Many children of slaves also got raped by the slave masters and bred more slaves. Do you all understand what I just said? So no, me and you ain't gonna get too many likes, and we ain't gonna get much approval from Black folks because they too busy trying to be Africans and stuff. And you know, and the folks on the continent don't even see you as an African. They don't. And also, African ain't even a people. It's not even a tribe.
Not even a tribe.
So why are you talking about you an African? You know, that's a continent. That's the name of a continent. And, you know, are you like Nigerian? Are you Libyan? Are you Egyptian? And I'm talking about like the real Egyptians over there now in, you know, in Africa, in North Africa. Okay. Are you, you know, Somalian? And you talking about you the Igbo tribe. Talking about some Hebrew Israelites out of West Africa. Baby, that's a mythical people from the Old Testament. Y'all stop believing everything you hear and just go do your own research. You know, go do your own research. It's, you know, a lot of stuff is like a click away. You just Google it, and, you know, it's a lot of information out there. It's a lot of information out there to dispel a lot of the myths that we've been taught. And we've been taught a lot of myths. We've been given a lot of myths. We've been told Jesus was a real person and he ain't even existed. See what I'm saying? We've been told, I'm just saying, he ain't even existed. We've been told Jesus was real and never even walked the earth. He was never even a real human being. But yet, 2,000 years, we've been worshiping the sun god. And I'm talking about S-U-N, the sun god, because, you know, that's what Jesus represents. He represents the sun, S-U-N, okay? That is modern day sun worship. That's what Christianity really is, modern day sun worship. That's what it is, really. Okay, so you know, I implore everyone listening to this video, you know, if you're still here with us listening to this video, to go out and purchase my book, God is on Trial, which is available on Amazon Kindle for $3.99. I'm going to pull it up here right quick, you know, and share it, you know, because a lot of y'all, I feel sorry for a lot of us as a people, you know, I really do. I really do. If it'll come up right quick.
Also, while you're doing that, I like to add and give an example.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we're not this African person that, you know, I always say hashtag unspecified African or Aboriginal. Unspecified. Go to your family reunion. And when you go to your family reunion, or look at the pictures of your last family reunion that you went to, what African people y'all supposed to be? Because when you look at your family reunion, you're tall, you're short, big noses, thin noses, big lips, thin lips, light skin, dark skin, all kinds of shapes and sizes. When you're talking about an African or any type of purebred, like say for instance, a German Shepherd. German Shepherd, in order to be a pure German Shepherd, all German Shepherds look the same. They carry the same characteristics and they have a consistency in the breed. If you're talking about you Nigerian or Somalian, all these people have their own specific characteristics. And when you look at them as a people, the majority of them basically carry these characteristics. There's consistency in who they are. But when you look at us, just based on skin color, there's no consistency. Basically, we're brown, but we range from the very light to the very, very dark. And some of us can even pass as Europeans. There are so-called Negroes, black people, who are passing for white right now in 2020. No Africans can do that. Because that's not in their bloodline. When you talk about consistency and you black, that's basically all you're going to see is black. Brown will pop up now and then. And maybe some other lighter color. That's a rarity. But in purebreds, there's a consistency. Like if you raise German Shepherds, sooner or later, one of those German Shepherds is going to look different than the rest. Because genes mutate or whatever. But it's rare. In purebreds, you have consistency. And there is no consistency when you're dealing with an admixture people, because whatever is in your bloodline, that's what's going to pop up, or something totally off the chain. So when you're looking at so-called African Americans, we can look like some of these Africans, but we can look like some of these Native Americans. We can look like some of us, like I said, can pass for white folks. That's in our bloodline. And some of us don't look like nobody at all. Who the hell you look like? But you're a Negro. And don't look like no Africans. You don't look like no white people. What the hell are you? We produce that also. Also, something that they ignore is you got to have, in order to be an Aboriginal or this African, you have to be pure. You cannot be an admixture. When you get ice cream and it's 90% chocolate, 5% vanilla, 5% strawberry, it's not called chocolate. It's called Neapolitan. Now, the reason why it's called Neapolitan is because it's 5%. You mixed it. It's not chocolate no more. Here you are, even when you get Dr. Kittle's test, he would tell you you're a little bit of African. You all kinds of mixed up things. You might be African, but you're a little bit of this tribe, a little bit of that tribe, and blah, blah. You all mixed up. Meaning you don't belong nowhere. You some kind of admixture person. And you don't want to accept that. You want to be some kind of purebred. Now, this is the thing. If you have a German Shepherd and mix the German Shepherd with a Chihuahua, then you're going to have a mutt, okay? Now, but if you mix that mutt with the same kind of breed that made it, some other Chihuahua German Shepherd mix, and let them start to breed, they'll create their own unique breed, a Chihuahua Shepherd. And they become pure in their own right. They become their own breed. And that's what you must have to understand about the so-called Negro in America. We have become our own breed, our own species. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just like you have all different kinds of chicken. All human beings on this planet are different anyway. Everybody not the same. Even on the African continent. Somalis don't look like people from Ghana. The people in the Congo don't look like, I don't know, like the people in Nigeria. They look different. People look different all over the country anyway. There are different kinds of elephants. All elephants don't look the same, act the same. There's different kinds of lions and rabbits and roaches. Some of y'all probably noticed some of them in your house. Maybe that's the reason why you can't kill them, because they tell you it's a different breed than came in your house. There's nothing wrong with being who you are and what we are. We can learn from Africans. We can learn from the Chinese. We can learn, but we don't have to be those people. There's nothing wrong with being yourself. Accept your own and be yourself. And it's not a righteous Muslim. It's a Negro that's evolving into a higher plane. And I call us soul brothers and sisters. Somebody who is just connected to life, that love life. Nobody else can claim it. It's belonging. What's wrong with wanting something that's just unique to yourself? Why you want to be somebody else? So when you become an African, you gotta be accepted by them. And like Sister Noble just said, we just want to belong. We want validation from somebody. And then we look real stupid when some of them Africans tell you in your face, you white man. I'm an African. No, you white man. I saw a video on YouTube. These Africans were telling these black people that moved to Ghana, wherever they was at. And they said, I'm African. They said, no, you white man. And they charged them more for the products that's being sold on the street. Because you white man, you can afford it. You white man. What's wrong with being accepting your own and being yourself? If I believe in God, I can create my own God, do my own thing. I can connect to God. I don't have to use what somebody else's connection to God. I can create my own connection to God. I don't need Allah. I don't need Jesus. I don't need Buddha. I will reach up into the heavens and create my own God. I'm talking to God, myself. This is my connection. I'll create my own God. I don't need yours. If I want to believe in God, I don't need nothing these people got. Because that's what free people do. Slaves look for a slave master. Whether the slave master live in America or the slave master live in Africa. You're looking for somebody to take care of your lazy, happy ass. But a free people want their own. I want to learn how to do electricity. I want to learn how to lay these pipes out, get my own water. I want to do my own thing. That's what free people do. I just wanted to put that out there before we close.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, I'm going to end this live stream because this thing, is not responding the way I wanted to respond. But you may go on Amazon Kindle and purchase my book, God is on Trial, for $3.99. Also, subscribe and share this video. I would appreciate it. And with that being said, I'm going to end this live stream. Have a great night.
Where's your little bell at?